Well, hello there, I'm Jason Zook.
And I'm Caroline Zook.
This is a weekly check-in video for a project we are building in real time over the course of the next 5 weeks called Wandering Aimfully. Oh, good sound effects. We are building our next business for everyone to see. We're pulling back all the curtains, talking about branding, design, content, marketing, launch, everything that goes into it. And this weekly check-in series is us basically saying, here's what we did this week, here's what we dealt with.
Yeah, so check it out. We talk about the ton of work that we're doing. We talk about how we're managing life stuff amidst all of the work that needs to get done. We talk about how we're handling staying married throughout this.
Still going strong.
Spoiler alert, still married, still doing it. So yeah, check it out and see what we've been up to and what we plan to do in the future. So let's talk about the sheer amount of work it takes to build a thing and then document building the thing.
We're not even documenting the documenting of building the thing, which we have talked about, which would be ridiculous.
Because a couple people have asked us like, oh, how much are you documenting versus building? And we're like, that would require doing a blog post on which would be documenting the process of documenting a process, which is just a little too meta for our taste.
I know Kung Fu.
Yes, so just to give you a little even further pullback behind the curtain of building Wandering Aimfully, this under construction site that we're doing, actually building the business, the thing. This week, the first week that we basically are just finishing up, was probably about 60-40 time spent on the documentation and the building of the under construction site, the daily posts, these videos. That's 60% of the time, and then 40% of the time is actually working on the thing that we're working on.
And that's because last week it was different, where we were building probably 80% of the time and only just setting up the website and things 20% of the time, planning the posts, things like that. And we did that intentionally because we started 2 weeks ago on the building. We knew from past experience that if you're documenting something, especially in the beginning, it's gonna take up a lot of your time. There's a lot of setup involved. And so I think we did the smart thing, which was that 2 weeks ago, we said, let's start building the thing now.
Yeah.
Let's get the post ready. So we're basically 2 weeks ahead of building the thing, and then we're 1 week ahead of documenting, if that makes sense.
From 12,000 to 2.3 million in 10 days.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
It is truthfully and honestly confusing.
Yes.
I just want you guys to know that we recognize that.
It
100%.
is, and the only way that we keep it organized, that's why if you guys read the productivity post of all the tools and the Airtable and the Asana, that's the only way we can keep our wits about us, because we can very clearly go, okay, we're writing the blog post that's going to go out a week from today, but we're building the website that's going to be documented 2 weeks from today. So it's a lot of dates and a lot of like sliding timelines.
I'm just laughing because we did this to ourselves.
I know.
We have no one to blame but ourselves. However, I will say I had a moment yesterday where I was writing a couple posts that were next week, and I was just thinking to myself, like, this is so cool that we have the opportunity to do this, that we can do this, that people give a crap that we're doing this. That to me is the fun part
And
of it.
truthfully, it is a ton of work, but it's not work that I ever wake up and I'm like, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Yeah.
I regret making this decision. Like 100%, that has never crossed my mind. I look forward to every day because I'm like, oh my God, like I was just writing the branding post that's gonna go up on Friday, and it's our entire brand identity. It's every decision that we made. It's the entire logo design process. And I've never like just sat down and written down my entire process. And I'm really excited to share that with somebody because I know everyone does it differently, but you know, for somebody who's maybe a beginning designer out there and they can't hire somebody to design their logo, I think that'll be really helpful and valuable. So it's pretty cool.
You don't. Yeah.
No, you do.
No, you do. Listen, a couple things that we should touch on. We don't have kids, first and foremost. Like, that's something that we've heard a lot when we've been building something like this or doing something super in-depth. We're like, oh, I can't do that with kids. You probably couldn't, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we're never going to be those people that are like, you can do anything with kids when we don't have kids and we don't know what it's like. We're not going to tell you that.
You could build Wandering Aimfully. You couldn't document the building of one. It just, it would drive yourself.
Maybe you could just like sit the kids in the corner and give them like a week's worth of meals. Is that how parenting works? I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, a baby muzzle and
you
a stack of diapers. They'll figure it out.
We're going to be great parents.
Hey, honey, we should get one of those and have like a ton more kids.
Yeah, I love that. More kids.
Anyway, there's life stuff that has come up for us, and really for us, the whole mantra behind Wandering Aimfully, everything we've been doing for the past couple of years, is we want to put life first then build a business that supports life, that kind of
Yep.
goes around. Instead of business is your focus and you try and fit life in little chunks that you can.
As you guys know, the YouTube header says, working to live, not living to work. So we don't just want to wake up every day just to work and just keep slogging away. We want to work so that we can fuel our lifestyle. So that's really important to us. Now, it's easier said than done when you're in the thick of a really big project that you care a lot about. But the thing I also want to like touch on is the fact that when you have this big idea that you want to bring out into the world, life doesn't just stop because you have this idea. So like things happen. Plaxico has some health issues that we've been dealing with. So we've had appointments every week to go and like take him to rehab and things like that.
He got a real bad addiction, just so you guys know.
to rehab.
Milk bones. He was on the milk bone
he was
kick for
on
a
the
while.
hard stuff.
They tried to make me go to rehab. I said no, no, no.
And we've been
gosh.
supporting him on his journey to
No.
recovery.
But truthfully, and I think part of what we want to do with this channel going forward, not just these weekly check-in videos, is be honest. Like, our dog has a debilitating issue that we have to deal. I literally carry our dog up and down the stairs every single time he wants to go outside.
and
It's a pain in the ass. It's a lot of work to deal with all this
And
stuff.
we're doing 3 appointments every week. And then, you know, I've got family stuff that's on top of that, and it's emotionally draining and all that stuff. But my point with all of that is to not make excuses either. And to not say like, oh, it would be easier if we put this idea off 6 months until we like had more time in our schedules and all that stuff. Yes, you could, but if you want that thing to become a reality, you have to say, I need to figure out how to work this all in and do it in a way that keeps me sane. And honestly, I think it's kind of a good thing that we had all of this happen during this, because that's the kind of stuff that forces us to take care of life. It's like it's the gym and the stuff like that that I'm like, we could just not go. But it's like, if it's our dog, it's our family. So it forces you to take yourself away from the work for a second and to kind of calibrate life. And that has kept it very top of mind for me.
Yep.
You've done a really good job of keeping us in the gym, keeping us moving, taking walks.
And that's part of, we'll talk about in a minute, but like, the way that we balance out working together is I'm good at managing kind of our daily schedule and prioritizing things, walks, going to the gym, eating food. We have to go to the grocery store.
I would forget that, honestly.
Yeah, doing laundry. Like, there's a lot of things that just like life has to keep going on. But I think one thing I wanted to mention here, and I know that I asked you before we started recording, which I think is really important, is that you're going to therapy every week.
Yeah.
And in this family, we are very big proponents that is a good thing. It's a great thing. Everyone should probably do that. For me, I have not gone to a therapist because I have Caroline, who's like the most emotionally in touch person ever. And we have a second therapist, which is Plaxico.
That's
and
right. He's very good.
Very emotionally
it's sort
sensitive.
It's very hands-on therapy. Like, you pet me, I take your emotional needs on. No, but we need to put like an asterisk here that's like, Caroline is not a licensed therapist.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it's been really awesome, because when things for me get hectic, I get very focused. And like Jason said, it's easy for me to kind of neglect the other areas of life, like self-care and things like that. It's just the way my brain works. I get very sort of myopic on things. And having this standing appointment every week where I go and I can kind of just have that emotional release and work through some of the feelings. And like I said, the emotional stuff that I'm dealing with in my family and all of that, it allows me to not bottle that stuff up so that it doesn't bubble up when we're under a time deadline or things get stressful and it doesn't come out at you or something like that. So I think you've even said like, yeah, I've noticed that you've been handling the workload a lot better than maybe in the past.
Yeah, for sure. And even when things get tough between us, you don't go to a place where there's like super friction between us. You're like, hey, like
this is what's happening.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about other things right now that are going on, and I think we're kind of moving that into this conversation. Like, this conversation didn't need to be that way.
Yeah,
so.
it helps with the communication for sure. So big proponents of mental health and mental fitness. So speaking of our different roles and how we handle, workloads differently, it's been interesting to see us in this new role. I mean, it's not new for us because we've collaborated before, but really working together in the trenches every day on this new project and kind of setting the groundwork for how our working relationship is going to be going forward. So how has that been working with your wife, wifey?
It's good. I'm going to lay down on the couch. Here we go. Let me just put my feet up.
Whoa, core strength.
Core strength. Or, it's been good. I think we've had a lot of experience over the years doing this. So if you're a husband and wife or partner and partner combo and you're trying to work together, If it's the very beginning, it's probably going to be difficult, but we're actually putting together a big post next week that's specifically on this. We're also going to put together, hopefully, a funny video. We're going to put together a video, my hope is that it's funny, about some of the things that we do, some of the conversations we have, some of the little stuff that annoys us about each other.
Yeah.
But it's a constant thing, just like your marriage is a constant thing, just like being in a relationship is a constant thing. Working on a project together, it's the same thing. Every day we have to sit down and have conversations. I looked over here because we have notes. And you have to go and overdo and over communicate, which talk a lot about in that post. That's the only way it works.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is the communication has been the biggest thing. And I've been surprised at how well we've managed it. I mean, the thing is, when you do daily meetings, you invite daily disagreements potentially because you're not like keeping things under the surface.
You got 3 lemons.
What my baby wants, my baby gets. You know that.
No, but I wanted 12. Baby wanted 12.
Why would you want 12 lemons?
So it's been this great thing where, you know, we are very much on the same page, but it's like every day, it's like, depending on where we both are, at the beginning of the meeting, sometimes we are not on the same page. And by the end of the meeting, we do get there. But I think over communicating is the biggest part about it. And it's been fun.
Yeah, we have a pretty clear delineation of roles at times too.
Yeah.
They do change, but like you're doing a lot of the creative work, you're doing a lot of the management of the documentation of this project, and then the building of Wandering Aimfully, and then I'm taking care of life stuff, as you just kind of mentioned.
And the management stuff.
And then knowing those roles, it helps us really understand and appreciate each other and the work that we're doing and let each other be focused on those things.
And the biggest thing that we've learned in the past is acknowledgement of those roles.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for me to like not even think about the life stuff because I'm doing all this creative work. But, you know, here Jason is running around keeping the whole thing, the whole ship, you know, moving, as I like to say. So it's important that every day when we do have those discussions to sit down and say, hey, Jason, I just really want to say that I appreciate you for...
Appreciate me keeping all our underwear clean.
That's right.
That's pretty much it.
That's all you do.
Also, we've been talking about roles. I really want cinnamon rolls.
Probably the hardest part for launching something for me of any project is you go from it being completely closed doors, like behind the scenes, to now it's out in the public and people can consume it. And it's really easy to get stuck on the numbers of it all. Do you know what I mean? Like how many people opened the emails, how many people visited the website, the Instagram, like to get sucked into this big fat goose egg that it was right before you launched. And now, you know, people are doing it. So how are we handling the stats?
Yeah, it is a mind. And
Ooh.
yeah, we bleeped it out for you. But it is for people who have been doing this for years. We've launched multiple projects. We have really tamed our egos when it comes to amount of email subscribers that we have, of the growth that we want to have, the money that we want to make. We have tamed all of those things, and no matter what, when you launch something new, it all bubbles back up, and you just immediately are like, I want more YouTube subscribers, I want more views, I want more Instagram followers. Why aren't they all coming?
More is better than less, because if stuff is not if there's more less stuff, then you might want to have some more, and your parents just don't let you because there's only a little bit.
And I think one of the things that's really interesting for us, even to share with you, is that we have over 15,000 people on our combined email list. We have probably 50,000 people on social media that follow us on all the different platforms. And our YouTube channel has like 100 subscribers. Our Instagram has like 100 followers for the new brand. That's what happens. That's what it takes. And that may even be a lot for where we are. And the key for me is just to not look.
Yeah.
And to continually, because every day I'm thinking about it and I want to go check and I want to go look and like, oh, did we get a couple more? Did we get any comments? Did we get these things? And just to like check in with myself and go, I'm not doing it for that stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff does not define the success of this project. What defines the success is recording, editing, pushing this video out into the world, building Wandering Aimfully, hopefully creating a great product, having fun while we're doing it. Those are the metrics that I really want to focus on. It's just really hard.
Yeah, and I think an important part that I want to mention too is that we laid the groundwork for this beforehand by setting some internal metrics for ourselves. So
1 million YouTube subscribers, 10 million
internal
Instagram
metrics.
followers, you know, all those things.
We want more. We want more. Like, you really like it. You want more.
No.
We don't have a single goal for any of those platforms.
Exactly. So in the very beginning, we said, we're just going to give this new project, if we can make it financially, we're going to give it our all for a year and check back in with ourselves and see, how did it feel? Did we like it? Is it supporting the lifestyle that we want? That's literally our metric, is can we put our creative energy into this for a year, and will at the end of that year it support our lifestyle? And if it does, then we did it, you know? And so we constantly had that conversation. So the way that we were framing this project was always always based on we want to put this out into the world. We're really excited about this. It was coming from this internal place versus this external place of like, are people going to like it? Are we going to get 1,000, likes on an Instagram photo? Like all these number metric based things based on what other people are going to respond to it. I mean, yes, that part of it comes from a place of we knew we had this existing audience of Buyer Future people that, and our existing audiences with Made Vibrant and Jason Does Stuff. So we felt confident that we would have a group of people that we knew at least would be somewhat on board.
And it's also not a huge departure. Like it's not like we're starting a yoga studio for dogs.
Yeah.
Where people will be like, whoa, that's a very small fraction.
Great idea.
Great idea. One thing I wanted to mention was, so one way that I'm dealing with this personally is I'm having someone build a YouTube Chrome extension that blocks the metrics when I view our YouTube channel.
Which I think is so fun, and I can't wait to use it because we were talking about this and we were like, we both just said to ourselves, I wish there was a way that you didn't, because you have to log in to upload the video.
And you see the views and you see all these things.
We're like, I wish there was a way to just hide that div for you, web developer nerds out there. I wish there was a way to just hide that div so I wouldn't see the view count. And Jason was like, I think that'd be pretty easy to do.
Not that I could.
No.
I could do it. But yeah, through.
I think that'd be pretty easy for someone else to do.
Yep, the power of Twitter. I tweeted it out. Someone DM'd me. Currently working on it now. Maybe by next week. Yeah, next week's check-in video. Maybe we'll have this. But I'm very excited. So we'll share that as we build it, and it will probably be available for other people to use.
And I'm sure that we'll mention in these check-in videos how that changes our psyche in terms of wanting to make videos, because we will have no idea how many people are watching them.
And we did talk about it. I don't know how, this is real time. I don't know if we're gonna actually show our growth numbers in these weekly check-in posts. We talked about just leaving them in the article, but I don't even know if I want to do that anymore. I don't know, you'll find out.
Because then we're gonna be able to see them.
Right, so you can click the link below this video to go to the article that's about the weekly check-ins.
and see if we decided to include them.
If we didn't, then you have to go hunt down the metrics yourself because we just don't wanna post them. So that is how we are dealing with all of the metrics and the mind of it. All right, well, thanks for watching our weekly check-in video. If you want to watch more videos, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. You can also do the like and comment thing if that is something you're into. Also head to wanderingaimfully.com and jump on our email list because we're sending daily posts out that are really in-depth on how we're building this project, and you can get more from us about this build.
And subscribe.